So, my name is Drew England. I'm the warehouse manager here at LeBair's Baton Rouge. I've been here with the company for about 7 years, 4 of them as the banquet chef de cuisine, and 3 of them as the warehouse manager. I realize it's going to be a big change for a lot of you. Don't get nervous about it. It may appear like it's a lot, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. I know that y'all are going to have a lot of questions too, which is good. That means you're learning, and we want to address those with as many people as we have today, and the limited amount of time we have to do it. I want to try to answer those at the end, time permitted. I do, however, very strongly encourage that at the top of your screen, there should be a little message box. Please enter your questions in there. This training session is being taped and monitored, and we will get all those questions addressed to you as soon as we possibly can. Two notable terms for today's session are picks and receivers. The reason I bring these two up is terminology. The biggest recommendation I can give to y'all at this time is I think some training material was sent out today. If you haven't already received it, you will. Start reading over that material. It may not make a whole lot of sense to you right now, but at least you'll be starting to identify some new terms. And the more you go over it, the easier it's going to be when we go into the hands-on training, where I think you're going to get the most out of that. I know it was difficult for me to read through the manuals and stuff like that and really pinpoint things, but once you go into the training, in-person training phase, I think it'll turn out to be a lot better, and you'll be able to identify a little bit easier. But once again, the two things I want for today are picks. Picks is going to refer to the internal POs, the requisitions that are going to come out of your warehouse and go to the end user. The other one is going to be receivers. That's going to be your external POs that come through, get verified, and go directly to the outlet. I want to make sure, can everybody see this? Can somebody give me a text or a voice back so I'm sure we're all on the same page? Anyone?
Nope, I don't see anything. I see a bunch of faces.
Same here.
So everyone's still just seeing faces. You're not seeing the page that I'm pulling up?
Correct.
How about now?
Nope, not yet.
Well, this isn't good. Let's see if I can fix some technical difficulties here. Still just everyone's faces, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Bear with me a minute. I thought we had this little snafu taken care of.
You're not alone. I had the same issue about a week ago trying to share my content. You're in good company.
Yeah, I thought we were past this. Oh, I think we're getting one step closer, ladies and gentlemen. How about now? Still in the same boat? Can we see?
Nope, still in the same boat.
There you go.
Coming up now.
Yeah, something's coming up. There you go. COUPA rollout.
Okay. But let me get to the right slide here. I apologize for my technical difficulties and lack of my computer knowledge, which leads me to believe that, once again, too, I'm not a company trainer, and I'm not a COUPA mastermind. I'm just like one of y'all. The only difference is, I've been doing this for a little while, working with COUPA anyway. But once again, for the two topics for today are the picks, and that's what we're going to start out with, the picking process. The pick process is the end-to-end process, steps for ordering, coming into the warehouse to be picked. How to close back orders, identifying and closing those back orders, and why closing back orders are so important. How to pick and print, how to print a pick list, searching for the pick list and printing it to execute the picking process. How to update a pick, executing the actual pick and updating the system to reflect the items that were picked in COUPA. How to receive a pick upon delivering to the outlet, how the receipt of the pick is recorded in COUPA, and how to close a pick if it needs to be closed by some other means. Once again, now I need to share. Can you see the test screen at this point?
Yes.
You can.
We're looking at your PowerPoint, James.
All right. Software.
There you go.
Now we're at test.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now we can get going. So this is what you're going to look at when you go to your home COUPA page. There's a couple variations on mine. This is personal tabs up here, but from this point on down is what you will be looking at. For most of your functions and everything today, on these tabs, we will be utilizing the inventory function. The most important thing to do before you start picking your picks is we have to close all the back orders. We close the back orders because if you don't have it in your warehouse to fill at the time you're doing the pick and you do not clear it out of your pick list, then you're not going to be able to clear it out of the system at the end. And if you don't do that, by the end of the day or the end of the week, you're going to have a really messy pick list area. And you're going to want to keep these areas as clean as possible and folders as clean as possible. It just makes navigating through the system that much easier. So I'm going to refer to this as the tab. Anytime we go farther down, these items up here will be the sub tab. So we start with the inventory. You will drop down to your fulfillment. Click on that tab and it'll take us to our back orders. Once you click the back orders, anything that shows up down here is the indication that we do not have that product to fill. For this PO, this requester, James England, is going to be short 4 cases of cream half and half. On that same invoice, same requester, will be shorted 12 cases of your biscuit patty blend. To close these out of your pick list, you would check this box. It will automatically highlight all the things that are back ordered all the way down. For our purposes, we always use this one box up here and click them all instead of going by and individually clicking all of them. You can do that. There are applications for that, but I recommend making sure you click all of them at one time. From that point, we go to close. Once you click the close, it closes everything out. Now that means it's been removed from the pick list. From this point, we can move on to actually printing out our pick list. From there, you click pick list. This will bring you to the pick list page, and all of these are the invoices. We'll have maybe 30 of them on any given day. The requester, how many items they picked from the warehouse. It's real simple from this point. All you need to do is hit your print button. When you hit your print button, it will take you to, this is what we're going to call the worksheet. Once again, terminology is something that you'll need to know. And I reinforce once again, making sure you read over all the information that's being sent to you. It'll just make it that much easier when you go into your one-on-one in-person testing. From this point, you'll go to print your pick list. Pretty simple enough, print pick. It's going to prompt you to a new page. It's going to verify your pick list again. From up here, once these are set, I don't know why it disappeared. Over here is just indicating the way you want your pick list to work out. We have several different printers in our warehouse, so we can print which one we want to pick to. Normally, it always stays on one. You don't have to do this every single time. You want all your pages to print out. This is going to be personal preference here on how you like for it to look. Some people like for it to be a portrait. My guys have gotten used to landscaping, so I just use it as landscape. Now, once again, I don't fool with this. You don't have to fool with this every time you get prompted to this page. It's just for you to verify that you're getting everything you need on this page. From that point, you press print and you will receive your worksheet. From that point, we will go back to the deck if I can get us there in a timely manner. So what you received at this point is we've printed out the pick. This is the pick that we just printed out. We verified all of that. Once again, this is the worksheet. In this application, they like to use the portrait. One of the steps that you're going to have to take from here is a stamp. This is a manual stamp that we will stamp all of the pick lists with. This is a very important step because this is where you're going to verify. The person is going to write down who picked it, who it was checked by, who delivered it, and who received it to the outlet. Very important steps in case you need to trace back at any point throughout the process where there may have been an issue with an order. From that point, your warehouse person goes ahead and picks the pick for the day. This is an example of one that has already been picked. They went through, they picked one, they requested one, picked one, requested two, picked two, requested 6, 4, and so on. The person who picked it signed, the person who checked it signed. And from that point is when you're going to want to make a copy of this so you can give to your end user in the outlet. And I am going to go through the steps on, so you can actually see that process. If I can get the test page back up. Can we see the test page again?
No, sir. PowerPoint still. PowerPoint again.
Well, come on, test page. It's right there in COUPA. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, James.
Yes.
Do you want me to share my screen and I can just do the action and you can walk us through it?
That's fine if you can assist me with that. I don't know why I can't get the test page to come up.
I don't know, but I thought I would volunteer to help.
No, I appreciate that so much.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
I can, barely,
Awesome.
but it's so tiny that I
Better?
can't go. There we go.
Okay.
So from this point, let me see. We are going to do the internal pick.
For which PO?
389765. So it's been picked, it's been verified, it's been stamped, and all the necessary signatures and employee ID have been put on there. So what we're doing now at this point is we're pulling it out of the system, these numbers out of the system, clearing it out. So we verified the pick, we've added all the numbers in, and now we're going to click submit. Once we do that, it has been removed from the system. At this point now, the paperwork, the copy that you made, and the hard are going to be delivered to the outlet. On that stamp, there is a receive by date and receive by person. The person who verifies that at the respectable outlet will sign in that blank. At this point, the paperwork will come back to the warehouse. From this point now, we need to attach that paperwork into a folder and receive it and attach that paperwork to the receiver. This is the verification process that the outlet received their work, and then we totally remove those numbers from your inventory. In order to do that, at this point, we go down to the sub-tab, Receive, and click Receive. And then you will come down, make sure that in your view, we click that, and you're going to want to make sure at all times you put your company number in there. Ours is 024 Receiving Baton Rouge. Enter that, and we're going to enter the PO number, which in this case was 389765.
Say that one more time.
389765. Click enter. Now this is how we're going to clear it out of the system. This is the final go around. Once again, we're going to enter the number that we ordered and the number that we sent up, 4, 6, and 2. The next step is extremely important. Consume. Consuming means, just think about it as consume. It was consumed out of the warehouse. We're wanting to remove it from the warehouse. Consumed. We'll drop down a little bit farther where you see the asterisks, the accounting company and the property code. Is your number. Ours populates automatically, but make sure that it's your company numbers in there. The most important part then here is you're going to click File. At this point, you have scanned your copy into its respective folder for your PICs. So you'll click Browse, and it should take you to your PIC folder, your PIC or warehouse. Select your PIC folder.
Hold on. I have one of those, I promise.
Oh, I know you do. You're moving faster than I was. One thing here you want to make sure, all of you, is if you do not have on your computers yet folders set up, warehouse folders, one for PICs and one for receivers, I would recommend that you get this week and have them do that, because you will not be able to complete any of these functions without those folders on your computers. So at this point, you'll identify whichever PO it was that you scanned. I do mine on an individual, scan them and complete the whole process. That way you don't get them confused. You can actually, if you want to double check it, you can double click the number and it will bring that invoice up. And you can click on the bottom of the page and you can verify to make sure that that is the correct invoice. What you're doing here is attaching all the paperwork associated with this invoice. From that point, you're going to click Save, and you have completed doing a warehouse PIC, an internal PIC. Back orders were cleared, and we delivered a PIC. The next part of the demo, we are going to be, I want to pull up, Nikki, I'm going to go back to the,
This?
I can.
Which page?
We need to go to page 17.
Okay, got it. Hold on, I can, give me 2 seconds.
I thought I had it up.
There you go.
So from the receiving portion of this, now remember, receiving, I said, this is going to be where you are taking things, invoices and POs that are coming in, going to be received into the warehouse and are going directly to your end user. They're not items to be kept here in the warehouse. Part of this process is going to be very similar to the second portion of the PICs. To do that, we are going to go to, Nikki, if we can get back on the test page.
Okay.
Can we scroll up so we can get the top tabs? Once again, for purposes of today, inventory is pretty much the main tab that you will use for these two functions. Once again, we're going to hit inventory. We're going to hit receive. It's going to drop us down. Once again, we want to verify that we're using 024 receiving. We are going to enter our PO number, which is 389677. And this is going to be just a simple receive one item going directly to an outlet. From this point right here, to print out your worksheet, we print the print button. And it will be similar steps to what we did in the previous requisition. You will see your worksheet right here. We didn't have to worry about this too much. We already have that all set up. Once again, if you like landscape, that's fine. We print out that print out that worksheet. I'm sorry, I almost misspoke. Hit print and we get our worksheet. Now with this worksheet, you don't need to stamp this one. This one we're comparing directly with the invoice. We've got our worksheet, we've got our invoice. At this point, we've checked all the products in. We've made notations on how many that we got in, verified that against the invoice. Now, from this portion right here, we take both of these and we are going to scan these two documents to one of those folders, to the receiving folder. Once again, you should have a pick folder and we should have a receiving folder. Receiving direct, picks internal. So we've taken both of these, we've scanned it. So now we're going to attach it to the invoice. We verified it all. We're going to hit consume because we are consuming it. Verify your accounting code numbers. Once again, hit file, browse. It'll take us to our folders and we pick our respective invoice. Once again, this whole process is to attach the worksheet and the invoice together. So these are kept together at all times. For those of you that may have to do any research behind the facts, it's so much nicer to be able to have access these and not have to go through an AP person. Once all this stuff gets processed, you have all these things right at hand. So at this point, then we hit save. That is the process for a direct receiver. So from this point on, this invoice goes up with your delivery person, gets signed, give them a copy of the invoice, your end user. That paperwork is then brought back and given to your AP personnel. Now, there are a couple of odds and ends to receiving, I guess you could say. One of them being a catch weight. How do we receive a catch weight? The same process, we start again at the top of the page. We go to your inventory, receive, make sure we're on 024, our number. Once again, we're going to put the reference your PO number. This particular one is 389773. Click your search button and it brings you to your invoice that actually has a catch weight. So we'll verify, we print up here, print our worksheet out. Go through those same steps that we've seen before already. Print. Then we take that worksheet, verify it against the invoice. It came in, the invoice, so we had 2 cases. And it came into 48.6 pounds. You enter the 48.6 in the pounds. Consume, same thing we've been doing. Company code, property code number, yours. Once again, at this point, we go to file. We've scanned in our invoice and our worksheet together. I go to the receiver file on my computer and attach that receiver. From this point, click Save. You have received an invoice with a catch weight. Another obstacle or a different type of receiver that we may have to end up doing is an out or a short. Once again, same process. We go up to the top, inventory, receive, verify your number. You're going to enter your PO number, which is 389766. Hit your little search button, and it is going to give you your worksheet. Print your worksheet out, steps that we've done before, verify that you like the way it's set up, print. For this purpose, we're going to show that green beans got shorted. So we're going to enter 1 in the green beans, and we got all the other ones. We're going to hit consume. Verify your company code numbers. Now, the step that you're going to want to add to at this point right now, before they get scanned, you're going to want to note that it was shorted, which is the bottom down there. Note that. And you're going to also want to attach whatever documentation that you used at your respective outlet, in addition to making notes in the short pay detail. Once this all goes to AP and is attached together, you know, you're just verifying the fact that you were shorted an item. Same process all over again. File, attach those 3 documents, and save. The next type of inventory is receiving an order into your inventory. This is going to be a receiver that you are bringing into your warehouse. For this verification, you kind of act like you're the end user. Same verification process: inventory, receive, verify your property, enter the PO number 389768. Whole milk was going to be received into my warehouse. This is one area that you want to pay close attention to. I still make this mistake. You will make this mistake. Is all the previous ones up to this point have been used consume, because we were getting rid of it. It was either coming out of the warehouse, delete it from my inventory, or it was coming in direct. Now we are wanting to put something into our inventory. So it's very important that you click the bottom one in receive to inventory. When you've got a whole bunch of these and you're doing a whole bunch of them at one time, it's easy to forget to adjust that to the receive inventory. Once you've done that, you're going to want to go down to your company accounting code again. At this point, I guess I skipped this point too. We've already verified this against the worksheet. So now we're back to the worksheet and the invoice being held together. It's been scanned to the receiver folder. We've pulled that receiver, attached that, and saved. Now what this has done is this has updated it into your inventory. Those 12 cases are now in your inventory and ready to be rec'd out to the respective outlets. If and when there comes a time, whether it be you've received something incorrectly, or whatever the reason may exactly be, and you have to avoid a ticket, the process is going to be this. We are going to go into our inventory. We will go into view receipts. To this point, we've used the receive, the pick list, and the fulfillment. Now we're going to use the sub-tab of view receipts. Follow the same steps to your view. Make sure it's your property location. Go over to your invoice box, and we are going to put in PO 388842. Click search. You can see here this is created receipt. This has all been taken care of. But for whatever reason we need to make some changes to the invoice, it wasn't received correctly. To void out items, you will go to the red arrow under Actions and click that red arrow. Once you do that, you will scroll down to the page and void, well, I'm sorry, you'll enter your reasons for voiding and enter. From there, we'll click Void Receipt, OK. And that has voided that item. Sometimes it takes a minute. This is all web-based, could be a lot of users. Now, one caveat with the voided invoice. As you can see under status, which Nikki was highlighting, it says voided. So you know that that was successful and it's no longer in the actions. Anytime you need to avoid something or void a whole PO, you have to do it by every individual line. So if there was 50 items on this invoice and we needed to delete the whole invoice for some reason or void it out because it was received incorrectly, you have to go in and use every single line. So it can be, it can take a little time in voiding when you have to do the whole invoice. Receiving an inventory PO with a catch weight is going to be very similar as we did with the direct order. Inventory, receive, verify once again, it's your outlet or your property, 389772. Search. This is a one item invoice, same process. Print out your worksheet. Once we printed out our worksheet and verified it against the invoice, we got all four cases. The pounds on your invoice, or after you've weighed your product, you enter the weight right there. We'll say 125.8 for purposes of this. Once again, this is going into your warehouse. So you will receive to inventory. Make sure a company code is correct. We've scanned the invoice and the worksheet into our folder. We've attached it to the receiver and now click Save. And the item has been received. And you'll notice up here at the top where you got a green bar that says item received. If everything's done correctly, you will see that on every one. Occasionally, if you miss something, especially when the areas of the receiver that have the asterisk by it, it will prompt you to, in red, to redo the receiver. Receiving inventory with a short. Almost the identical process as we were doing with the direct receivers. Inventory, receive, verify, enter your PO number, 389369. Milk. We ordered 8 cases. We printed our worksheet out from this point. We ordered 8 cases, but we only received 6. So you'll write 6 in quick receipts. Once again, we are receiving to inventory. You need to enter your property codes. Note that you were shorted of the short. We go to our file. We attach our scanned documents to the receiver. Save. I saw that somebody just asked a question, do items stay in your folder? No, you're going to want to delete those out of your folders. If you don't keep up, no one's updated. After you've updated them, you delete them. You don't want to keep all them in your folder every single day. Your folder will just get too junked up and you won't be able to keep up with it. When I am receiving items and going into the folder, I'm pretty much voiding them out or deleting them out of the folder after I complete the whole process. It just keeps the folder nice and neat, and anybody who goes back behind you, if you have multiple people doing receiving, it's easier for them to keep up with the receiving lines. I think we have run down all the examples.
So James, I've also been answering questions in the comment section.
I see you've been doing that, Nikki. You can type faster than I can too. I appreciate that. So if anybody verbally wants to ask any questions, we still have a few minutes. I'd love to address those at this point.
Can you hear me?
Anyone? Yes, I can.
Okay. What if you have several shorts on an invoice? How do you refer to that on the comments?
You can add all of them into the comments. I would just address each one. You can do 2 cases, kind of like Nikki, if you can see what she's doing right there. You can enter multiple ones in right there.
Okay, just put as much detail as possible, right?
Yeah, or you know, I wouldn't get too worried with it so you don't take up too much room. You just want to make a notification when it goes to AP where they know what was shorted and you can verify it.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's a lot of questions. So Audrey, yes, it's in your inbox. Kim, no, not everyone needs a computer, although I think Drew can speak to this more than I can. I would have at least 2 computers on a dock.
I would definitely. We have 2 of them on our dock. 2 computers and 1 printer scanner. That's something we didn't address in these things yet. I mean, I know some of y'all are on different systems. We were on Stratton Warren before, but another thing, in addition to having your IT have those 2 folders put in, you're going to need a printer scanner readily available and preferably right next to your computers where you're doing most of the receiving. If you have it across the other end of your warehouse, you're going to be working your people a lot, walking back and forth between the printer and the computer. So if you don't have these in your warehouse, I strongly suggest you work with your IT department this week in getting those set up before you go live.
So the only one, Carol asked, if an inventory PO has a short, does the balance auto close? So we have to reorder.
Short on inventory. So no, your PO will not auto close. That's where, like, for my instance, on a daily basis, I go through all my warehouse orders. And if we were shorted any of them, I send that PO number to the buyer. So I don't have access on my end to close that out. You will need to send that to your buyer. And that's something that you're going to want to do. I do it on a daily basis. and I would recommend doing so. That way your receiving stays nice and cleaned up. One main reason for this is because once you set up your replenish programs, if you have those POs left open, it will affect the number the computer reads to replenish your warehouse. The computer will still read it as if we're still waiting to receive that item that was shorted. And you know that it was shorted. It's not going to be resent to you. You need to reorder, so you need to get your PO closed. It sounds like a lot of work, but once you're on your main homepage of COUPA, for those of you who are doing your ordering, you will see your entire order history right there. It doesn't take just a few minutes to do a quick glance at it and make sure that your orders are completely closed out. Hope that answers that question for you.
Okay. Other questions?
Any other questions?
Had a quick question. When you were mentioning creating the two folders, or having IT set up the two folders for
Yes.
PICs and receivers,
Yes.
are those in a shared drive, or that part of COUPA in its database?
They're
Those
not
are
in
in
the
a shared drive.
Okay.
Tony, those are in a shared drive. We actually have, IT has the ability to create folders on a shared drive that are basically available to scan directly to them from your printer scanner unit. So like on the dock, as your guys are finishing their paperwork, they go to their printer scanner unit, they scan the documents directly to that drive. And then when they go to COUPA, they can easily pull from that drive and attach the documents. So there's not any like save, rename, attach later kind of action going on. It just scans it straight to the folder and then they attach straight from the folder.
Thank you. I was also waiting, I guess, for a future lesson trying to understand, you were mentioning where the documents are updated, then they can be deleted. So I wasn't quite sure what was meant by that.
So once you link the PDF here in COUPA, you can actually delete it from that folder because it will retain in COUPA indefinitely.
Perfect. Thank you.
I saw somebody made a comment about wanting a copy of the PDF. If I'm not mistaken, Nick, you can say something to this if I'm wrong. I believe the information was sent out in an email today. If you didn't get it, we'll need to get it forwarded to you. But the full training deck is available for you. It goes much more in depth than the little PowerPoint that we had.
Here. So yeah, Drew, you're absolutely correct. I believe everyone on this call has been invited to the PNG COUPA site here. You can actually go to the warehouse and receiving post go live information, go to files. In this folder of training material, here is a PowerPoint. This not only has all the information that Drew has gone over today, it actually contains all of this information. So it contains step-by-step instructions for all of the supervisor and non-supervisor activities.
And as I said in the very beginning, that's my biggest piece of advice to give each and every one of you at this point is it's a big, thick, lengthy document, but it's worth your while to start reading it. Even if you don't fully understand everything in it, the beauty of it is you'll start getting the terminology and you know, and it'll just give you that much head start when it comes into your one-on-one training, which I think it will be the best for everyone. I know it was for myself and my team. Once you're actually hands-on and actually seeing it in front of you, and you're seeing the process, actually scanning it into the files and the folders and so forth, it makes a lot more sense. I know we initially thought that there was a lot of steps and it seems very daunting. But once you get used to it, and which doesn't take very long after the first week, you know, by the end of the second week, you'll realize, man, it's not that big a deal. It doesn't take as long as you think it might up front.
And then to the question about desktop computers versus tablets, you will be able to, as long as your tablet can connect to a shared public drive and you can connect to a printer from your tablet, it does not matter whether you use a desktop unit or a tablet, whatever is most convenient for your team.
We have a few more minutes. Anybody else have any questions? I know somebody has to have some.
They're basking in the coolness that is COUPA. Yes, it is possible to both have tablets and desktops. These are some great questions, you guys.
And I would say if I've never thought of the tablet thing, but if that's what you're used to in your warehouse and it can handle all the functions, I would say stick with it if you're used to it.
We have tablets in Blackhawk.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Do the scans stay in the folder forever? No, you will have to manually delete those. And you will want to do those delete those out of there after you have completed the attachment, after you've attached it and clicked save. That record is now in the system. It's in the receiver. It can be referred back to at any time. At that point, then you want to go to your folder and delete that from your folder. We clear our folder out a couple times a day, as a matter of fact. And one of the main reasons being, the main reason being is you just don't want all that in your folder. You're going to end up attaching the wrong receiver to the wrong invoice, and sort of the wrong invoice to the receiver, I should say. But we also have 3 different receiving stations in my warehouse. At any one given time, 3 people could be doing receiving at once. So you don't want to get all that confused up together either.
Does all communication occur within COUPA, or is it intermixed where certain parts are you're reaching out via an email or a phone call?
Do you have an example?
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think if you have your shorts, if you have a short on a shipment or something was refused, how does the internal customer, how are they aware of it? I guess.
So, your end user can actually see the receipts in COUPA, and they do, if their notifications allow it, they can actually get notifications of the receipts that your warehouse does. So that communication is done internally to COUPA. I know, at least for us, James, I don't know how you guys do it, but we always communicate via email to our supplier to ensure that like credits are given correctly or reshipments are sent in a timely manner. So I think both, depending on who you're communicating to.
Okay.
We do the same. In addition, we've with that communication, we also attach that in a written hard copy of whatever the issue was, and scan that into our folder with the invoice, with the worksheet. So once again, that gets attached to the receiver. So once again, there's just a level of documentation there.
And then, go ahead, Drew.
UPS and FedEx, will you use this for this? Yes, you will. All POs will be going into COUPA. So yes, FedEx, UPS, all your vendors really should be using.
Just to kind of show everybody, I think a lot of the examples that Drew gave us today had POs where we knew the PO. If you don't know the purchase order, so let's say you just get a package via UPS, I know how good vendors are at always putting POs on things. You can use this advanced search button, and you can use all of these different parameters to search for your package. So if you know the package was shipped from Cisco, you can literally supplier contains Cisco and search. And because you're filtering to your property, it's going to show you every open line on a PO for the vendor Cisco. And then you can even go so far as to add additional search features saying, I want this box contains sugar. And now I can see all of my open POs that are from Cisco that contain items with the word sugar. And then you can identify from here which PO it might be and be able to receive from there.
And you will definitely be using those functions when it comes to FedEx and UPS.
Yes.
You know, there are some vendors that they don't have the POs attached like our main distributors and our main vendors do. So yeah, my mail guy learns to navigate that pretty well.
So, and I know I use it specifically for like items. Obviously, sometimes we don't even know the vendor sometimes because they're shipping from a third party. Like our vendor bought it off Amazon. We don't even know, you know. So a lot of times the item feature contains, and then just type in one word that kind of describes the item. Less is more here for sure. But it gives you all of the different options of what's still open and available on a PO, and then you can kind of eliminate from there. But this search feature, the advanced search feature, is by far one of the best things I think COUPA has to offer us on the receiving dock.
And some of that'll come with time spent. There are several different ways to navigate through that. We use the requester a lot here. We know what managers are working out of what outlets, and especially if it's for us, let's say a Cisco, when it's, what is it, supplies on the fly, when it's coming in, they never have a PO attached to those things. But I can narrow down that olive mix always goes to our stadium here. And I know that Chef Nick is the one that orders in stadium. So I will go in by requested by contains and put Nick. And it's already under our property. So all of his outstanding POs will come up. And I can go down there and generally locate it from that point as well. So there are many different ways to find one that does not have a PO attached to it or in the mail with it.
Sometimes I even use order quantity if it's a really odd like quantity of like 200 little pieces or something. I will use order quantity is more than 150. And because it's such an odd quantity, it only brings up so many options and you can kind of narrow down from there. So it's cool. So Jen, vendor managed or direct order? That's a good question. So in COUPA, we don't have blankets. We only have purchase orders. And so what will happen is the department who has the vendor managed program will create a PO for the calendar year with an estimated quantity of items they're going to receive over that calendar year. And then that one PO is used for that entire year for us to receive against. And we receive just like a regular purchase order and we consume it. That's a direct to the outlet charge. We just consume it to that PO all year long. Cool. Answered the question.
And Nick, you could set those up by dollar or by units or both?
Either one.
Okay.
Like you have to pick Like on you have to pick one or the other.
Yep.
But they're both options. Yeah. Anything that comes across your dock is received by you. Anything that is non-tangible or gets delivered directly to an end user is received by them.
I hope we answered everybody's questions. If we didn't and one of them got biased, once again at the beginning I told you that we were taping this training session. We will definitely make sure we answer those and get back to y'all.
Good start.
And look, once again, for anybody that happens to be nervous or apprehensive about this switchover, I get it. When we're going through it kind of fast, and it seems like it's a lot, and may seem like it's more steps or whatnot. I wouldn't get nervous about it. I mean, it really takes maybe a week, and you will be on top of it. My team had no problems picking it up, and it just becomes the new norm. It's like anything else. Learning something new can be a struggle at first. But I think you'll find, at least I found anyway, I mean, I was apprehensive at first myself. We were with Warren, but I look back now and I'm like, wow, I can't believe, this is what we use now, and that's what we were using. And for those of you that sometimes have to dig in to or do some research into maybe something was received wrong, your inventory is wrong, how do we even go about looking at that? It makes things like that, because everything is so transparent, so much easier, because the information is right there for you. You don't have to go to and rely on them. And I found that just to be. Everyone, I sure do appreciate your attendance. For those of you that will see here, or I will see here soon in Mississippi, I look forward to one-on-one. I wish you all the best of luck. It's not as scary as it may seem, and I can't reiterate enough to just start reading over the information that's been sent out to you. Once again, if you don't fully understand it, I don't think anybody expects you to, but at least you'll start, recognizing the terminology, and just get you set up for, future success once you start doing the hands-on training. And I really appreciate y'all's time today. Thank you.